In the previous lecture, you understand how to create packages in Python. Now let's take a look at how you can work with files in Python. One of the most common tasks that you can do with Python is reading and writing files. So in this lecture, we're going to understand how you can read the file in Python. A file is a collection of data in byte format. There are different types of files you can create and store data. Now suppose you have a file sample.txt and you want to read the data from this file. Reading and writing data from files using Python is pretty straightforward. To do this, you must first open the file in the appropriate mode. So let me show you how you can do that. So I'm going to just create here a simple file sample.txt in my project directory right here. Inside this project directory, I'm going to say new file. I'm going to name this file sample.txt. And inside this file, I'm going to just put some content. And here I'm going to say file formatting. Save the changes. Just out of that, I'm going to just open my index file. And in the index file, I'm going to first open this file. So as I said earlier, to read the file, you need to first open it. Now to open a file, you have predefined function open. Using open function, you can open any file. So I'm going to just call here open function. And in this open function, I need to pass argument. The first argument you need to pass is the file path. So here I'm going to specify file path. So as you know, I have this file inside this root directory. So I'm going to just specify here sample.txt, just like this. And just for that, you need to pass the file mode. We'll talk about that after a few seconds. But just for now, leave everything as it is. And I'm going to just get the data using this function inside a variable. So here I'm going to create a variable file is equal to open and then specify this file name. So this function is going to return the data to this file variable. Now let me just print this variable. I'm going to say print and say file, just like this. Let me just execute this. As you can notice, I'm going to have the result something like this. Just leave it as it is. And just after that, I want to read the data from the file. But before we read anything, let me show you how you can close the file. When you open the file, it's important to remember that it's your responsibility to close the file. In most cases, upon termination of an application or script, a file will be closed eventually. However, there is no guarantee when exactly that will happen. This can lead to unwanted behavior to close the file at the end of the application. So what I'm going to do is just out of this file right here, I'm going to add exception handling here. So I'm going to say here try, then I'm going to pass this statement, and down here I'm going to say finally, and here inside this finally I'm going to close the file. As you know, final statement is always execute. So I'm going to close the file here very easily. So here I'm going to say file.close. Using this file close method, you can close your file. Now there is one more way to open and close your file. Let me show you. I'm going to get rid of the statement, and right here I'm going to say with open and then specify my file path. I'm going to say here sample.txt as reader, and inside it, inside this with block, I'm going to specify pass and execute this file. When I execute this file, I'm not going to have anything because I specify pass here, but this with statement automatically take care of opening and closing the file. Even in cases of error, this with statement is going to close your file. I highly recommend you to use this statement as much as possible. This allows you to create cleaner code and makes handling any unexpected error easier for you. Now let me show you how you can read the file data. You can do it with a read method. So for example, if you want to read the data from this file, you can use the read statement. This with statement is going to open the file and create an object as reader. You can specify any name to this variable, that doesn't matter. And once I have this object, let me just read the data from it. So here I'm going to say print reader dot read, just like this. Now when I execute this program, I'm going to have file formatting as a result. As you can notice, I have this file formatting text inside this sample.txt file. Now if you want to categorize your files, then there are three different categories of the file object: text files, buffer binary files, and raw binary files. You can find more about the file types in the Python website. Now as I said earlier, you can specify a second parameter to this open function. The second parameter specifies the mode of the file. This argument is a string that contains the multiple characters to represent how you want to open the file. The argument is a string that contains multiple characters to represent how you want to open the file. The default and the most common is R. You can specify that R in the single or the double quote. So just out of this file name, you can specify mode of the file. This is the default value of this open function. This means you want to open this file for reading. Just out of that, you have the second mode, which is W. The W mode is for writing the file. If you have this file in your project directory, then this argument is going to override the content inside the file and put a new content inside it. And just out of that, we have RB, or you can say WB argument. So this argument is going to open the file in the binary mode, and this mode is going to read and write the byte data. Now once you understand the file mode, let me just get rid of it and specify the default value R. Now just out of that, if you want to get the file lines as list, you can use the read line method. For example, when I execute this file, you can notice I'm going to have this empty line, and then I'm going to have this text. Now what I want to get this result in a list. In that case, I can use a read line method. You just need to call read lines method, just like this. When I execute this file, I'm going to have all the text inside this sample.txt file as a list. So you can iterate this content using for loop. Now in this lecture, we just understand how we can read the file in Python. In the next lecture, we're going to talk about how we can write the file. So I will see you in the next one.